What's the best asset protection tool in the country? It's the Florida Homestead Protection. Hi, I'm Jonathan Alper, and I'm an asset protection attorney practicing in Orlando, Florida, with clients throughout the state of Florida. So what is Florida Homestead? Who qualifies, and what does it protect? Article 10, Section 4 of our Florida Constitution says that no creditor may force the sale of a debtor's homestead to collect a debt, and secondly, that no creditor may put a lien on a Florida homestead. The Constitution says that the size of the homestead lot to qualify must be less than a half an acre for homes located within a city, but up to 160 acres if your house is outside of a city located in any of our Florida counties. One of the best things about the Florida homestead is that there is no dollar limitation. You can protect your investment in equity in your homestead regardless of how much it costs and regardless of how much money you invested into the house. The homestead protection also applies after your death. So your homestead is not part of your probate estate, and even after you're deceased, none of your creditors during your lifetime can take the homestead away from your surviving spouse or your heirs. Some of the features that make the Florida homestead protection better than the protection in other states that also have unlimited amounts of protection are that in Florida, that there is no waiting time in order to qualify for homestead protection. So our laws say that as soon as you buy your house and move into the house as your primary residence, you have homestead protection for the full amount of value and investment. The rules are a little different in bankruptcy court, but as long as you stay away from bankruptcy, your qualification for Florida homestead protection is immediate. Secondly, there are Florida cases that say that the purchase of a homestead cannot be undone as a fraudulent conversion designed to defraud creditors who have a judgment against you. What does this mean? Well, this means that even if you are being sued, and even if you wait until right before you lose and there's a judgment against you to buy a Florida homestead or invest cash to pay down your homestead mortgage, this cannot be attacked and it cannot be reversed in a state court proceeding as a fraudulent conversion. I want to make sure you understand that there are some exceptions, some common sense exceptions, some not common sense to Florida homestead protection, but they are few. Example, the IRS can put a lien on your homestead. So homestead protection is not exempt in Florida from IRS tax liens. However, the IRS, even if it gets a lien that applies to your homestead, rarely forces the sale of the homestead. The IRS lien will remain on the house and will be paid if you sell or refinance the house. Secondly, and this is a common sense exception, are voluntary liens or voluntary encumbrances. What's the most common? Mortgages. If you put a mortgage on your house to buy or to refinance the house, the bank can still foreclose the mortgage notwithstanding Florida's homestead exemption. Also, mechanics liens. These are a legal term, but what they really mean are if someone a workman comes to your house to build or to fix your house or even to improve your landscaping, then they can enforce a lien and judgment on your property in order to collect the money you owe them to build or improve the house. Who qualifies for a Florida homestead, or who can qualify? The answer is any permanent resident of Florida who is a natural person. So you must have the intent to make the Florida homestead your domicile or your primary residence. People who live up north and come down for the winter who have a residence in Florida does not qualify them to protect this secondary residence or the vacation residence under the Florida homestead protection. The homestead is only protected if this is your primary residence. Now, you could have a vacation home for the summer up north and vacation outside the state in another residence, but as long as your primary home is in Florida, you get the homestead protection for that home. Secondly, you must be a natural person. In other words, a human being to have Florida homestead protection. Sometimes people call me and they'll say, Mr. Alper, can I put my homestead protection in a partnership or LLC or an irrevocable trust? Well, yes, you can, but doing that will forfeit your Florida homestead protection because the homestead protection will no longer be owned by a natural person. Homestead is pretty complex. And if you have any questions about your qualification for homestead or how you can purchase a Florida homestead as a part of your asset protection, give me a call. My number is 407-444-0404. I'm here to help. And thanks for watching the video.